From the Rio Grande Valley, I'm Pablo de la Rosa with a report that I filed with San Antonio's NPR station, Texas Public Radio. Earlier tonight, the Starship Super Heavy SpaceX rocket made liftoff on Thursday morning in its full prototype configuration for the first time since receiving that FAA approval on Friday. But 4 minutes later, Starship failed to detach from its booster and it exploded in midair over Boca Chica Beach in the Rio Grande Valley, bringing its planned 90-minute trip to a location in the Pacific Ocean just north of Hawaii to a sudden end. Residents in nearby Port Isabel reported on social media that they saw what they call particulates or ash settling onto homes, cars, and streets. I spoke to Rob Nixon, who's the vice chairman of Surfrider Foundation South Texas chapter. He lives in San Benito but works in South Padre Island. He watched Thursday's rocket launch from Port Isabel. He said the rocket's impact could be seen, heard, felt, and touched for miles around. He told me, quote, "I wasn't expecting to collect raining particulates today, and my wife's classroom in Los Fresnos vibrated 20 miles away." Other residents on social media theorized about the origin and contents of the debris. I also saw people arguing about whether the dust-like substance came from the liftoff, the explosion, or somewhere else. Nixon told me later, quote, "They were wet when they came down, so I think it came down from the clouds. It feels like sand, but it is much finer than our local sand." Now, it wasn't immediately clear what that matter was or where it came from. I reached out to the Federal Aviation Administration, that's the FAA, but they did not respond to my questions about how regulators survey the damage from this kind of explosion. I spoke to Elma Arredondo, a retired school teacher who worked at Garriga Elementary in Port Isabel, just 5 miles from where SpaceX has its launch base. She told me, quote, "I was just told ashes fell from the sky on the Garriga Elementary kids that were outdoors. They all ran inside when it started raining." Arredondo also told me that she's been concerned about SpaceX, she said, from the very beginning. She told me, quote, "What kind of danger did Cameron County bring to our community when SpaceX was welcomed here?" And she also said that as a retired school teacher, she immediately thought of Garriga. The elementary school is part of Port Isabel ISD, which received a $5 million donation from the Musk Foundation in 2021. For more on this story and other stories from Texas and the border, you can visit San Antonio's NPR station, Texas Public Radio's website at tpr.org. I'm Pablo de la Rosa in the Rio Grande Valley.